Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope you're all doing well. It's been rough. So I'm sure you can tell, and I'm sure I look weird, but I've had like oral surgery, and clearly nothing stops me. But like this side of my jaw is like still a little swollen. I mean, I look a little more normal today than I have the last couple of days, but it's been a struggle. And like you could see bruising. We're just gonna pretend like it's not there, okay? We're gonna keep it moving. So as you can see from the title, today's video is gonna be on my period cup. It's also called a menstrual cup. The cup that I have is actually from Salt. I'm gonna leave the website and all that information down below. So today I'm actually gonna be giving you guys like a full review on this cup. I've actually been asking around, people have given me their questions, and I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty. So if you have a weak stomach, this is not for you. Let's get into it. First, I kind of just want to give you guys like a background on me. So I actually used to use tampons, and really like my issue with them was number one, leaks. I feel like my cycle is actually extremely heavy the first couple of days, and I found myself, I was always leaking. I would actually have to sleep with not just a tampon but a panty liner on also. Sorry if that's TMI. Second, my issue with tampons was the string, okay? And without saying too much, I'm just gonna say the string would get messy. And it bothered me. I am someone who's very sensitive and prone to infection, especially after I had Gavin. I don't know why. Is that like a normal thing? Is that just part of motherhood? Like you get pregnant and then all of a sudden just like stuff starts happening down there. Anyways, so I just didn't like how messy the string was. I wanted to find something that was just as comfortable, if not more comfortable, but also something that was just a little bit cleaner, you know? And I know what you're thinking. How is this cleaner? It just keep listening. So first off, I kind of wanted to go over like selecting your cup. So I selected the Salt cup, and there's actually a number of reasons for this. Number one, I actually like the claims on this cup. So first of all, I like the shape. It looks comfortable. I know it looks big, but just it looks comfortable. By the way, if you see me looking down, I took notes for this. So that's what I'm looking at. Anyway, I like that this cup is actually medical grade silicone, and there's like no like chemicals. It's like all natural. I mean, as natural as silicone can get, I guess. But it's BPA free. There are no toxins, no chemicals, especially considering like I'm gonna put this in my body. I wanted to go with something that was as pared back as possible, something that was as natural as possible, and something that wasn't gonna be introducing all this weird stuff, you know, into my body. This is also FDA tested silicone and FDA tested dyes. So it's safe. It's also vegan and cruelty free, which, I mean, that's a plus. And again, I like the shape of this. I like that it just looked more comfortable than the other options that were out there. And plus it comes with this cute little bag. I mean, that's so cute. Anyways, so there are a few of these available. I actually got mine at Target. I think they're also available at like Walgreens, CVS, and then you can also buy them online. I actually noticed that online they do have like a duo set. So this set that I got was actually $29, which, I mean, it seems kind of expensive, but you have to think about the fact that it's like a one-time cost. They actually say that you can keep this cup for a year or two before having to replace it. So that's like $30 for the whole year. That's a hell of a lot cheaper than tampons. I was buying like an $8 box every month. That's a lot of money. So anyway, this set was $29. They also have a duo set, which is two of these cups and I think a pouch, and that set is $47. And then I also bought the cup wash with mine. This is what it looks like, and this is $13. Now let's get into using this thing. So the first thing I did when I got mine was actually read the instructions. The instructions on this are actually really thorough, and I love that, because if you're a first time user of these, like, it can be daunting. Like, you look at it and you're like, okay, so like now what? So I really love that they come with really thorough instructions. The first thing I did was actually boil mine in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you let it cool and return to room temperature. And while I let it cool, I washed my hands. You have to remember, anytime you handle this thing, wash your nasty hands, okay? And then you can take your cup and you can actually wash it in either antibacterial soap, or you can use your cup wash to wash it out before your first use. So that's first things first. And then I just dry mine with like a paper towel. I actually avoid drying it with towels or washcloths just because like it is like that soft touch, like silicone-y feel. And like you can get fuzzies on it and stuff gets stuck. So I just prefer to use a paper towel. Now, when it came to like inserting for the first time, I do have to admit, like this was it, like it was a task. The instructions do come with like different ways that you can actually fold this to get it in. So I'm going to show y'all real quick. So the first method was just to fold this lip in and then pinch, and then you can insert this way. It does feel a little bit clunkier this way. So that's one way to insert. Another way is actually to just flatten this and then fold in half. This is actually how I insert. I just feel like this is the most comfortable for me. And then the last one was actually kind of weird, but you flatten it again and then you just kind of like roll this up and you can insert that way also, which I mean, that's kind of hard to do for me. Again, the easiest way for me was just to fold it in half that way. And I mean, I don't know, it goes in easy. Now, when I insert, I actually sit on the toilet to do that. You can also actually stand, but like with one leg hiked up, kind of like a Captain Morgan stance, if you know what I mean. I actually find it most comfortable to just sit on the toilet and do it because, you know, like if stuff is happening, I just prefer to just sit on the toilet. But I also do the Captain Morgan stance that I was talking about when I take it out in the shower to clean. And I do feel like that works pretty well. Now, when you insert it, again, it actually has like instructions, like very detailed instructions, like with pictures and shit. But like when I insert it, instead of like inserting all the way up, like in an upwards motion, you actually want to insert, like if you're sitting, you want to insert up and back kind of towards your bowels, just because like your cervix doesn't actually sit straight up. It actually sits at an angle, and you want to make sure that you catch it at the angle and it suctions properly. Now, the first time I did have to practice a few times. I did have to take it out and put it in and take it out and put it in. It was like a learning curve, but once I got it down, I mean, it's like easy peasy lemon squeezy at this point. A couple things to look for when you do insert it is, first off, you insert it folded and then you just kind of like let go and it should pop open if it's in the right place. You should also feel almost like a pop or like a suction once it's in place. And I do have to admit, like the first time I put it in, I did feel like there was air stuck in there and it was uncomfortable for like a hot minute, but then like that air just kind of works its way out. That sounds gross. Oh man, we're all adults here. I hope. Anyway, once it's in, you will be able to tell if it's like not in properly. I feel like you'll feel this thing at the end more if it's not in properly, and then you'll also feel like some kind of discomfort if it's not in properly. As long as you insert properly, you feel the pop, you feel the suction, it's like super comfortable to wear. Now, they do suggest that you actually run your finger around the bottom to make sure that the whole thing has popped open. That way there's no like leakage. I want to say the first couple of times that I did use this cup, I didn't insert properly and it didn't pop all the way open. So there was a little leakage here and there, just a little spotting, nothing crazy. So that's another way to know that you haven't inserted properly. They also suggest twisting the cup a little to kind of make sure that that suction is there. And then you do want to tug at this a little just to make sure that it's in place. It's not going anywhere, you know? So what I do is I actually, again, I fold, I insert, it pops open, and then I do kind of twist a little just to make sure that it's all in place and it's all popped open, and then I do give it a little tug just to make sure, you know, again, because my first couple of days is real heavy. Okay, now to remove. This was difficult for me. The first time I removed this, it was kind of uncomfortable. What you do is you actually pinch the bottom of this and then you gently just kind of scoot it down. I thought, for some reason, I don't read instructions clearly. I thought you're just supposed to pull this little tab thing, which don't do that, okay? Don't pull, okay? But yeah, you just pinch it a little and you kind of scoot it down. Now, I feel like I owe it to my ladies out there. You know, when you do pull it out, it's not as messy as you think it'll be, and it's not as much as you think it'll be. I thought my periods were like super heavy in the first couple of days because I would leak through a tampon. And I mean like the super hours. But like the first time that I pulled it out, I want to say like after 6 hours, it was like at about here. And I was like worried that I was going to leak through this cup. Like I was like, there's no way. I mean, I'm going to fill this cup in no time. No. You actually can't. I feel like because paper products don't actually have as much as absorbency as we think they do, it can be like misleading. But yeah, like the cup was only actually filled up to here. And because the cup is actually catching everything, your hands aren't getting as messy as you think they would be when you pull it out, if that makes any sense. Now, to keep the mess on the inside, I would recommend, again, pinching, wiggling it out a little bit, and then you kind of just dump and make sure that it's being caught in the center of the toilet. Now, what I do is when I dump, I flush simultaneously because I hate shit clinging to my bowl, okay? It drives me nuts. I don't want to have to clean my bowl every time I empty, okay? Again, it may feel like TMI, but I feel like I need to help y'all. Now, once I've removed and I've dumped and I've flushed, I hope y'all's sink is right next to your toilet, okay? Because if it's not, you're gonna run into some difficulties. So what I do is I normally take it out, dump, flush, and then I rinse this out with my cup wash. And then, once it's rinsed out, I'm good to like reinsert, But if your sink is not close to your toilet, like you're gonna have some issues. I mean, you obviously can't stand up and like go to your sink, you know what I'm saying? Like it creates issues. So that's that on that. Now, I feel like the most common question about like this number is keeping it clean. There's actually a couple things about this. So number one, every time I take it out to empty, I wash with the cup wash. They do recommend that you take it out every 6 hours. There are times where I go a lot longer than that. But as long as I clean it with the cup wash every time I empty, I'm good to go. I feel like this has like not like a scent, but like it almost smells a little citrusy, and I feel like it kind of combats the odor. First of all, like your period just it's not the greatest smelling thing in the world anyway. And I was somebody that actually used to use the scented tampons just to kind of keep the odor at bay. But it's just a reality of life, okay? Like periods don't smell like roses, okay? And I actually feel, if I'm being honest, this smells so much cleaner than paper products. I feel like when you have all of that stuff absorbed into a paper product, it kind of intensifies the odor, and it smells so much worse. I feel so much cleaner with this in. And I know it sounds crazy, but like you have to experience this. So that's one thing. Another thing about keeping it clean is, again, every 6 hours you wash it with the cup wash or whatever to kind of keep it as clean as possible during your period. But also between periods, I boil this sucker. I don't play around, okay? Again, I'm very sensitive and I want to take no chances with bacteria, if you feel me, okay? So I actually boil this between periods. So once my period is over, I'll go back in the kitchen, I'll boil it for 5 to 10 minutes and then wash it out with antibacterial soap. And then I'll put it back in its carrying case and I'll put it someplace dry, someplace cool. So yeah, it's as clean as you keep it. I just want to put that out there. Now, as far as comfort goes, I feel like this is more comfortable than the tampons that I would use. I feel like it's more comfortable to insert. I feel like it's more comfortable to remove, and I feel like it's more comfortable to wear. I feel like a lot of the times, especially if you don't put in a tampon far enough, you can feel it, and you would feel it all day. And this, I feel like, kind of gets rid of that issue, again, because it has to like suction to a specific place. So you always know that if it's uncomfortable, you didn't put it in right. So that's one thing. And then once it's in right, I swear I don't feel it. Another thing about comfort is if it's not comfortable, you probably got the wrong size. So these salt cups actually come in, I want to say 3 different sizes, 1, 2, and 3. And I think it also depends on your age and then whether or not you've had kids. The website will actually like give you all the sizes. I think I have number 2. So again, if it's not comfortable, you probably either have the wrong size or it's not inserted properly. Now, this is a little uncomfortable to talk about, but I'm taking one for the team here, y'all. This is not the most comfortable thing to poop with, okay? So if you're dropping a deuce, I would take it out. I feel more comfortable just taking it out whenever I'm dropping a deuce. Just because, like, you know, I just don't need anything hindering me at that point, you know? Like, I just do what I gotta do, and then I pop it right back in. It's not that hard. But it does, because it's, like, backed up against, like, your bowels, I feel like it's not the most comfortable thing to poop with. Now, it can be done, okay? You can leave it in, and it's not like horrifyingly uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't hurt or anything to poop with this in. I just feel like it's easier to just take it out, do what you gotta do, and then just, you know, put it back in. So yeah, it is super comfortable, totally moves with me. I never feel like it's uncomfortable. I've done all kinds of sports with this. I've worked out with this. I've hiked. I live my life with this. I've slept with this in. It's super comfy. Again, I used to be a tampon wearer, so I do feel like I was used to having to insert something. I'm not sure if this would be for someone who's never gone that route. Like, if you're wearing maxi pads and you've always worn maxi pads, obviously it's going to be a little bit awkward inserting something for the first time, and it may take longer to get used to. But I just wanted to go over a few pros and cons. Yeah. So let's start with cons, okay? First of all, this is not necessarily like a travel friendly thing, okay? Now, if I do have to travel with this, I have to bring a pack of baby wipes. This is not something that's necessarily easy to use, like in a public bathroom when you're traveling or if you're out camping. This is not outdoor friendly, okay? You definitely would need a sink or a way to kind of clean up when you're obviously removing and emptying and replacing or whatever. So that's one con. It's not ideal when you're like out and about, you know. Now, that said, I don't actually have to empty this as often as you might think. Again, because it doesn't actually fill that much. I don't think y'all realize you really don't bleed that much. So when I am out and about, I actually just empty right before I leave, and then I could literally go all day and not have to worry about it. So there's that. Second, this is not a lazy girl friendly product, okay? You have to take care of this. You have to wash it. You have to keep it clean. There are things that you have to do, you know? So if you're just one of those girls that are just like not about doing all that stuff, this is not for you. Because if this gets dirty and if you don't care for it properly, girl, you're gonna have some issues between your legs, okay? I'm just gonna say that. The next thing, this may be attached to your cervix or whatever, or like suction to your cervix or whatever, but this is not sex friendly. So you can't have sex with this in. So it's not going to be like a solution to like being able to be sexually active while you're on your period. No, this is not what that is. And then the last con is, while this is a one-time cost and you only have to replace this cup once every 1 to 2 years, depending on how worn out it's getting, you still actually do have to spend for the cup wash. But I have had this cup wash since I purchased this like 3 or 4 months ago. So this cup wash has actually been with me through like 3 or 4 cycles at this point, and I have yet to have to replace this yet. So it does last a little while and you still save a whole lot of money, but again, you do have to keep repurchasing this, unless you just want to use like antibacterial hand soap, which is also safe. I'm hoping you have that in your home at all times. But some people, you can never be sure. I mean, now, the pros. Obviously, it's environmentally friendly. You're not throwing out a bunch of paper products and you're not flushing stuff down your toilet. When I lived in Jersey, I couldn't flush anything down the toilet. So it was just a pain in the ass. So this is so much easier than that. It's also more cost efficient than buying paper products. Again, I used to spend $7, $8 a month on tampons, sometimes more. So again, $30 for the entire year or 2, and then plus the cost of this, you're still saving a shit ton of money. I've actually also heard that these are actually safer to use than tampons, again, because tampons can, especially the ones that are not organic, can introduce a lot of chemicals into your body, but you do have a higher chance of getting toxic shock syndrome or TSS from tampons than you are like one of these numbers, again, because this is as natural as you can possibly get. It's medical grade silicone. There are no toxins or chemicals or all all that stuff. So this is safer technically, unless you just don't wash it. In that case, you're SOL. And then these are also leak proof. They're extremely comfortable, so you can do literally anything. I've gone swimming with this. I've gone to the beach with this. I've worked out with this. I've just lived my whole life with this, and it's totally leak proof. This is actually the only thing that has ever prevented me from leaking in the middle of the night while sleeping, because I don't know what it is, especially the first couple of days. I would always leak, but not with this. And that's because it actually holds more than a tampon. So I feel like you get more not absorbency, because it doesn't absorb anything, but you actually get a lot more wear out of this than you would a tampon, you know? Like, it holds more. Anyway, I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have any other questions on this, and you can leave them in the comments below. I'll sit here and answer your questions, I guess, if there's anything else. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe and stay tuned. So the first thing I did when I washed mine, oh, I forgot to say, and then you just, you know, so that's another way to know that you haven't inserted it. You actually, I like, you know, I don't know. I just like, I don't need any, I think you have a higher chance of getting toxic shock syndrome. That is really hard to say, especially when your jaw is swollen. Oh my God.